Hey everybody, Chad Mackin from the Something to Bark About podcast. And before I get started on this video, I just want a quick reminder. If you like this video, if you like this channel, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, all right? It helps, all of that helps people find this content. If you think the content is valuable, do these things, leave a comment, whatever you want to do. That will help us out a lot, all right? So with that out of the way, I saw a comic today about dog training, and it was really kind of cool. The first panel had a woman working with a trainer and her dog, and she was trying to give the dog a treat, and the trainer said, no, don't give the dog a treat. Don't give the dog a treat. Your praise should be enough. And then the next panel has the woman thanking the trainer, saying he's a great trainer and her dog is a lot better, and goodbye. And the next panel says the trainer has a trainer calling out to the woman as she's walking away, hey, wait, you still need to pay me? And she responds, no, praise is good enough, right? And this is, the moment I saw this, I went, okay, listen, this is clever and it's funny, but it's not going to persuade anybody. Nobody's going to go, oh yeah, I do expect to get paid for my work, so I should pay the dog for their work. And I started to wonder why that was. I started to kind of break down like the core philosophical differences that might make that a problem. And I had this sort of like, I think it's an aha moment, and you guys can comment below if you think this is a sound reason or not, or sound thinking. But it comes down to this idea. I've been thinking a lot about lately about agreements and how agreements. I've said for a long time that an agreement, a contract, only has merit if one of two things is present: either trust or leverage. Like so, when we're training a dog, I want to work on trust. I want the dog to trust me. I want the dog to believe in me. A lot of trainers are content with leverage. Um, and I'm not saying you can't have a little of both, and I'm not even saying that one is better than the other. But if there's no trust and there's no leverage, you don't have either side desiring to live up to their agreement or believing that the other side is going to live up to their agreement. And so we fundamentally are always making decisions about who we trust and who has leverage, right? And in the comic, the trainer is teaching the owner. Therefore, the trainer has leverage, right? And if you have leverage, you can demand payment. I am going to demand that you do this for me because I have something you want and I have leverage, right? I am in the position of authority. I am in the position uh, to demand payment, right? And to, I think, a certain mindset, that's what leverage does. Leverage allows us to insist that others sacrifice something for us. Leverage insists that we get our way, right? Whereas trust doesn't work quite that same way. So, like, in that scenario, the trainer's like, yes, of course you're going to pay me because I have the leverage. But if they think this way, and by the way, I don't believe these ideals, these sort of fundamental thinking processes are conscious. I don't think that these are things that are articulated, but somewhere in the back of the mind, the idea of me paying someone when I have all the leverage seems weird. It seems unpleasant. Why should I pay you when I can make you do it? Why should I pay for it when I can insist? Right? And it goes back to when I was a kid. I found out one of my friends was getting paid for good grades. And so I thought, hey, this is pretty clever. This is a pretty good idea, right? I could get paid for my good grades too. So I go to my dad and I say, hey, dad, so and so is getting paid for his good grades. He's like $5 for every year or whatever it was. I don't remember. And my dad looked at me like I was the dumbest person he ever met in his life. And he's like, no, son, I'm not going to pay you for good grades. And I said, why not? And he said, because I want you to get good grades for the right reason. So are you going to stop punishing me for bad grades? Oh, no, I'm still going to do that. And this was a situation where my dad was, and again, not articulated, and I'm assuming a lot here, and I've never spoken to him about it, but it makes sense. He had all the leverage. Like he could cause discomfort or unpleasantness in my life at will. He could take things away. He could ground me. He could, corporal punish me. He could spank me. Like he could do whatever he wanted. He had all the control, and he wasn't going to pay me. He wasn't going to pay me. See, the thing is he wanted me to do it for the right reasons. But the right reason isn't because I'm afraid of consequence. The right reason is I believe in the value of education. And I want to take the fullest opportunity, and I have this sense of honor and accomplishment and all this other stuff. Those were the right reasons because I don't want to get grounded or I don't want to get spanked or I don't want to get yelled at. That's not the right reason. That's not the motivation for the proper reason. And it was never, but see, it was never about that. It's from his perspective, paying me to do what I should do and what he can insist I do felt wrong. And I think for a lot of trainers, they have the same similar mindset. It's almost like, hey, listen, dog, I provide everything of value to you. Without me, you got nothing. So just do what I tell you and don't ask for anything in return. And if you don't, there's a consequence. And they will reward the dog with affection and they will, say good boy and all this stuff, but they will not actually diminish themselves. They will not give out something that reduces their supply of something, right? But if you work on a trust model, if you work on if you enforce your contracts, if you will enforce your agreements with trust, then that becomes a very different thing. I want to make you happy, dog. I want to encourage you. I want to show you how proud I am of you. And suddenly, it doesn't matter who's got the leverage. It doesn't matter at all because my goal is to share with you this moment, to accomplish something with you as a partner, not as a subordinate necessarily. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people are going to go, wait, wait, wait. Dogs are subordinate people. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We have to lead because if we didn't, listen, they all think drinking antifreeze is a great idea. We have to be in charge. Right? If we listen to them, we'd all be drinking antifreeze. So that's not what I'm saying. But what I mean is, when I'm training a dog, Katrina Hartwell, a trainer from Australia, said it beautifully. She says, you have to allow the dog to find their advantage. When I'm training a dog, I want the dog to see that their advantage lies in helping me and working with me, doing the things I want them to do. I want them to see, Daniel Tortora, I think, said, I just want the dog to see me as the kind of guy who gives good advice. Now, finding their advantage and giving good advice are great ways to frame it, but they can be framed in the way it's going to hurt you if you don't too, right? If I say, hey, don't, walk out in the street, that's good advice, but that's a fear-based response. But in the trust model, I want to encourage the dog to do what I want them to do. I want them to get excited about it. And that means I want to find ways to motivate them. So I'm not even talking about what's good or bad or what's right or wrong. I'm just talking about for me, it says a lot about the way I see dogs. And it says if I'm relying on leverage, then I'm right. I don't need to pay them. And I can say, good boy, and he just did what he was asked. He did nothing special, right? Why should I reward the dog for what's expected of him? This is the sort of thing that like my dad would have said. Why would I reward you for doing what you're doing your job like it's expected of you, right? Why should I give you anything extra? Why should I give you that extra attaboy? But growing up that way, I know why that extra attaboy matters, right? Because it's encouraging. Somebody says, "Hey, great job," that makes you want to work harder. And again, when you're a kid, they gave you like little gold stars on your homework and stuff like that. When I give a dog a piece of kibble, a small tiny piece of kibble, that has caloric value of almost nothing. That has taste value of almost nothing. But that piece of kibble becomes a physical manifestation of my happiness with the dog, like that gold star. That gold star you got on your homework was valueless. You couldn't turn it in, you couldn't sell it, you couldn't even peel it off the paper without damaging it. But it meant something. It was a physical manifestation of the teacher's pleasure in your work. And the kibble can be the same way because sometimes you'll see a dog who will work for the kibble, get excited, take the kibble, and they'll spit it out and ready to go on to the next one. They actually don't want to eat it; they just want to receive it. They want to earn it. And so if you think in terms of leverage, you're going to be more likely, I think, you're going to be more likely to say, no, I don't have to pay you. But if you think in terms of building trust and building desire and building relationship, I think it's a real easy step to go, hey, let me give you something. Let me show you how proud I am of you. Right? So it's just something I thought about as I saw this comic. Share your thoughts below. What do you think? Do you think that I'm onto something? Do you think I'm full of crap? Whatever. Let me know in the comments. And like I said, if you like this video, like this channel, like, subscribe, share, whatever you can do. All right. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you around. Take care.